Okay, let's do some sorting and filtering. So here I've got a table of grades. This is a grade worksheet that you can imagine would work well if you're trying to calculate student grades in a course. We might want to filter information. So first thing we need to do is go make sure we have one of our cells highlighted in this big data table. We don't want to highlight just a blank cell or something. We want to make sure, selecting a cell in the header row is usually a good idea. Then if we go to data, we can click this filter button. And this is going to turn on sorting and filtering for each one of these columns, which is good. That's what we want. Okay, so we did step 1, display grader information only for students with the last name Greer. So let's look at the last name. If I click that drop down arrow, I can select all, which will then let me show Greer, and click OK. Then I'm just going to see that row of data. Unfortunately, it cuts off my text box, but that's okay. So I can clear this filter to show all my data by clicking on that clear button. Or if I did select, let's say Baker, I can also click on that filter. I can clear that specific filter to show everything. Always a couple ways to do things in Excel. Let's show people who scored at least 120 on the exam column. I'm going to scroll left so I can see all this stuff. So here we've got our exam column in column H. And we want a number filter. So what are we looking for? At least. So that's greater than or equal to 120. So that's good. So I should see values 120. So I see one that hits 120 exactly and higher. So that's good. Once I've done that, I can clear my filter. Filter the data to show people who scored at least 80 on both the Excel project and the Access project. So we have to do that twice. Number filter greater than or equal to 80. So that filter is active. Then I'm going to need another filter on my Access column greater than or equal to 80. Click OK. So I shouldn't see any value less than 80 in either of these columns. So that's good. So I'm going to clear this filter. If I use the clear up in the ribbon, that's going to clear all my filters for all the columns. Filter the data to show people who registered before July 15th, 2018. So here's my register date. Date filters, I've got before, and then I can put in 7/15/2018, and that works just great. So Microsoft Excel knows that I'm storing a date in that column, so the date comparisons, it's going to give me, before, after, this month, last month, things related to dates. So I'm going to clear that filter. Filter the data to show only students whose last name starts with B. So because this is a text column, I've got text filters, and I've got begins with, I say B. I've got all my last names that start with B. I'll clear that filter. Let's say we want students whose first names contain CH, like Charles or Rich. Text filters, I've got a contains, so CH. Let's see who it finds. Nicole and Archie. Looks good. I'm going to clear that filter. Let's see, can you filter where the NMUIN value is less than, gosh, what's that number? I need some commas in there. 500,000, I think that is. 1, 2, 3, yep, 500,000. Can I do that? So I've got text filter. This is a little bit trickier. So there's no greater than or less than here. We would have to actually do, because this is text, we can't do numerical comparisons on it directly the way it is. So I'll leave that up to a challenge for you. You could create a new column that extracts a number from this text in column E. See if you can figure that out. How would you filter the data to show only people with a sum of 2,000 or greater on the PPX columns? So for example, we've got Johanna. If I select all of her values, the sum is 1,769, so she's not more than 2,000. How would I do that? Well, if I wanted to do that, I would have to I would probably create a new column. I might call it P total. And I would have to actually add all this. This is stuff that we'll get to later, but sometimes when you want to do advanced sorting, it can be helpful to create new columns that store a copy of your data using formulas. So I'm going to have to actually filter that, refilter it. Now I can do a number filter greater than 1,999, which is the same as 2,000 or greater. Nobody did. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to clear that filter. All right, so I'm going to fix that typo, upload this video, and that's some basic sorting and filtering. Very powerful tool for analyzing your data.